Hi, good morning, boys and girls. It's Thursday already. I hope you are doing well. I hope you went outside yesterday and got some fresh air and sun. And I hope you're ready to work today. So, you're working on your day 4 bell ringer. This is the last week of bell ringer, so then you just have one more tomorrow. You are working on Spelling City for Unit 12. You're working on your questions of Las Guayabas, and you are also going to do the vocabulary study guide. The vocabulary study guide has the vocabulary words from Los Higos and Las Guayabas. And then the backside has a writing response as well. And then math. So today's math lesson, subtracting mixed numbers, is very different than adding mixed numbers. And I uploaded the math antics video that goes step by step on how to, how to subtract mixed numbers. I'm going to go over with you the first 2 problems that are on your math sheet. It's the K to 5 learning subtracting mixed numbers worksheet. So let's begin. Number 1 is 1 and 12/15 minus 1 and 10/15. Okay. And this one is pretty easy. You're subtracting 1 minus 1, 12/15 minus 10/15. So remember how he said to write it the other way, stacked up? So he says to write it like this. Right? So then here we're able to see that 12 is bigger than 10, so we can subtract. 12 minus 10 is what? 2. Don't forget, your denominator stays the same. You're not subtracting the denominators, okay? The denominator stays the same, just like in when you add, your denominator stays the same when you add. When you subtract, your denominator stays the same as well. And then the ones cancel out. So your answer is 2/15. That's it. So if the problem is set up like this, excuse me, where the number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom, then it's easier. The problem is when the number on top is smaller than the number on the bottom and you have to borrow. So I think number 2, let me show you with number 2. Number 2 is 8 and 2/8. And I'm going to go ahead and just write it like this already. Minus 2 and 6/8. Okay, that's number 2. Now, in number 2, notice how my fraction is smaller on top than on the bottom. So whenever you have a smaller number on top, just like when you subtract regularly, you have to borrow. So we're going to have to borrow from the 8 a whole. Okay, so when we borrow a whole, it is going to be 8/8, right? 8/8 equals 1 whole. So then the 8 becomes a what? A 7. Okay, and then I borrow a whole. But then I have to add it to my 2/8. Okay, so when I add these two, I'm just going to put a plus sign here. It equals 10/8. I get an improper fraction. But even though it's an improper fraction, you could see that now 10 is greater than 6. Now I could definitely subtract, right? Now I could subtract 10 minus 6/8. So if we go 10 minus 6, it is what? 4. And then remember, our denominators stay the same. Okay? And then 7 minus 2 is what? 5. Now, I'm not done, because what can I do with the 4/8? I could simplify it. So, divided by the greatest common factor, 4 equals 1/2. So my answer is 5 and 1/2. Okay? So I showed you the first example on how to subtract when the fractions part is greater than the second fraction. So again, you always want to put the greater number on top and then the smaller number at the bottom. Okay? And even though we have a greater number on top here, 8 and 2/8 minus 2 and 6/8, of course 8 and 2/8 is greater than 2 and 6/8. However, my fraction is not greater. So I need to borrow a whole from the mixed number, which is, remember, when the numerator and the denominator are the same, that means that it's a whole. It equals to 1. So when I borrow 1, again, turn it into a fraction. Make sure you cross out the number and take away 1, and then add it to your fraction. So again, we added 2 plus 8, which is 10. So now my new fraction, now I have 7 and 10/8, not 8 and 2/8. I have 7 and 10/8. So then I could subtract 10/8 minus 6/8. Okay, which equals 4/8, and then 7 minus 2, which is 5. And then what you've been learning, simplify. Got it? So we simplified it to 1/2. My answer is 5 1/2. So this is what you're going to practice today, subtracting mixed numbers. And that's the lesson. Today, I am going to share with you the schedule for next week. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to share. I'm going to share it with your parents, and I'm going to post it on the Google Classroom later on. I just want you to take a look at it. You're probably going to have questions, but I'm going to go over those tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'm going to say, all right, boys and girls, next week, this is what we're going to do. So all that explanation is going to come tomorrow. Okay? Remember, again, schedule change for tomorrow. You're not doing the practice buddies. I mentioned that yesterday. So tomorrow, you're not doing the practice buddies. It doesn't mean you're not going to do math. I think I might assign you a sum dog challenge just to kind of review what we've been learning, adding and subtracting fractions only, or comparing fractions, which is what we learned before. So yeah, watch for that tomorrow. Today you have a Liberty Kids video as well to watch, episode 12 on the common sense. And that's all. Don't forget to do your work for Miss Hernandez. I saw that Alexis mentioned you also have work for Mr. Mota. So if you have music work for Mr. Mota, don't forget to do your music work for Mr. Mota. I don't know if you got work for Mr. Stewart. He probably just suggested some websites that you could go on. I don't know if you got work from Mrs. Frausto. Don't forget, Miss Calhoun gave you exercise work to do. So I hope you're doing your exercises as well. And like I mentioned yesterday, Miss Scampini went ahead, she has access to my Google Classroom, so you can ask her a question on the Google Classroom as well. She went ahead and posted some activities to do, some makerspace, I guess, activities that you could do while you're at home. All right. I miss you guys. I really wish we were in school. But we're not, and who knows when we're gonna go back. But I want to go back to our routine. I'm kind of, it's just getting a little bit harder. Not harder. I mean, I hope you're enjoying all these online activities and, videos and stuff. I hope you're not getting bored and, you continue to come and check in and do your work. Okay, that's the most important. Do your work. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Post it on the Google class. If I don't answer, you guys will answer each other, which is great. And that's it. Oh, I wanted to ask, who has, let me know in the comments or post, if you have like a Chromebook at home or a laptop at home with the webcam, because there's this program on Google that I just found out. It's called Google Hangouts, where if you want, we could set up a time and date where we could meet and say, okay, we're going to log on at this time, and then we could all see each other. So it's kind of like a classroom meeting. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think if you want to go ahead and do that. I know not everyone has a computer at home. Some of you have your tablets, or some of you, I don't know if you could do it on the phone. It was just an idea. Let me know what you think. Okay? That's it for today. I will come back tomorrow and explain to you the schedule for next week and your Some Dog challenges for tomorrow. All right? Have a good Thursday and bye.